covering news where you live. This is 5 News This Morning.
Well, hey, good morning. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on 5 News This Morning. Okay, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
One more day. I feel like we're almost there, so hang in there, right?
I mean, at least this week has been really nice so far.
It's true.
It's gonna be
Tiffany's
another
enjoyed
nice
it.
day today. Nice for tomorrow. The one issue for our Friday is going to be some really strong winds.
Come on, Steven. We've had a perfect week. You can't let us round it out on a good note.
If we could do 5 for 5 or 7 for 7 days in a row,
That we would be
I'd be out
best
of a
friends.
job.
Not that we're not already.
this is even better. Well, today's going to be another great day to get outside. Lots of sunshine, daytime highs into those low 80s. We're getting closer and closer towards that first day of spring as you head out the door this morning, starting off into those low to mid 50s out there. Again, this afternoon, we'll reach up into those low 80s across northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Here's the current temperatures outside. Again, starting off into those 50s out there this morning. This afternoon, though, those daytime highs again reaching up into those low 80s. By the time we get late this afternoon into the early evening hours, lots of sunshine is expected throughout the day today across the River Valley, and a few passing clouds here and there in the morning hours. Outside of that, mainly seeing lots of sunshine. Those daytime highs reaching up into the low 80s as well. Again, tomorrow the issue is going to be the strong winds. We already have that red flag warning in place across northwest Arkansas in the River Valley for tomorrow. What that means is a combination of really strong winds and low humidity. By the weekend, it's going to be cooler, but at least some sunshine. For those star lovers, for the space lovers, tomorrow morning between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., we will have the chance of seeing that lunar eclipse. It's going to look reddish in the sky. You just got to wake up early enough to be able to see it.
All right, thanks for that, Stephen. All right, in our continuing coverage this morning, we're hearing from the Benton County prosecutor after 9 people have been charged in a capital murder case. We now know at least 5 of the people are juveniles. Police say that the charges are all connected to a shooting that happened Saturday morning, which claimed the life of 41-year-old Andreas Fonseca.
Benton County prosecuting attorney Brian Sexton says that he believes there is enough evidence to go forward with capital murder on the primary defendants, and others say feel that they can build up the charge for liability with other facts. He adds that right now his office has enough to charge the juveniles as adults.
Felt like there was more than enough proof for us to file the information and to begin the process on the adult side.
Well, Sexton says juveniles charged with capital murder cannot face the death penalty if convicted. Well, a group of former Johnson County Sheriff's deputies is suing the county and Sheriff Tom Hughes, claiming that they were wrongfully terminated and targeted for whistleblowing.
5 News reporter Jose Carranza spoke to the attorneys representing the deputies and brings us this story.
4 former deputies are suing Johnson County and its top law enforcer. They claim their careers were destroyed by retaliation, not only in being forced out, but also in attempts to decertify them.
They've endured a lot of damage to their reputation.
Lucian Gillum is representing the deputies in this case. They allege in the court filing that the deputies were either fired or pressured into resigning after reporting misconduct. That's why the county as a whole is listed as a defendant. But Gillum says the sheriff's actions went beyond terminations.
When you're trying to decertify a law enforcement officer, it goes far beyond you're just trying to take their job or make life so unpleasant that they quit. You were literally trying to take their entire career away as a law enforcement officer.
The 13-page complaint outlines many claims that deputies say they faced after Sheriff Hughes' appointment by the Quorum Court. The case also lists a sheriff's wife and a resident running a social media page as defendants. Gillum says posts they made defamed his clients.
They'd like their names cleared. They'd like the people's business done in Johnson County, and they want to be compensated for what all they've been through, which is a lot.
The deputies seek $1 million each in damages, a public apology, cleansing of their personnel files, and retractions of publications involving the deputies. Gillum says it could be up to 2 years before a trial. Sheriff Hughes declined to comment, but did say he has not yet been served paperwork in the case. In Johnson County, covering news where you live, Jose Carranza, 5 News.
Well, now to the Arkansas Capitol, where conversations centered around supporting ALICE families. ALICE, which stands for Asset Limited Income Constrained but Employed. On Wednesday, students advocated for lawmakers to pass policies helping ALICE families and supporting educational policies for their children. According to ALICE, 31% of Arkansas households classify as these types of families. For a household with 2 adults and 2 kids, if they make less than $61,500 a year, under $31 an hour, they're classified as ALICE.
Been working 2 or more jobs, and yet They struggle to afford basic necessities like housing, childcare, healthcare, and education.
Well, several bills were mentioned on Wednesday aimed at helping Alice families. House Bill 1534 would increase the homestead property tax credit. Senate Bill 59, which has already been signed into law, provides each student with one breakfast at no cost each school day.
Well, we are in the first week of daylight saving time, and at the Arkansas State Capitol, lawmakers discussed a bill that would keep the state from making the change ever again. State Rep Stephen Meeks made his pitch on Wednesday for a bill that would keep Arkansas on standard time all year. It's a debate that's been happening across the nation, and while many agree with the concept of ending the time change, there were a lot of concerns about how sticking with standard time all year would impact the lives of Arkansans.
Do you really think that this would be better handled at a federal level where everybody, I agree wholly that we need to do something, but it's really going to cause confusion at Helena and people working back and forth.
Well, the committee ultimately voted against the bill. Right now, Arizona and Hawaii are the only two states that no longer observe daylight saving. Currently, federal law does not allow states to stay in daylight saving time all year.
Well, the bill to help the state's collegiate sports program fund their NIL foundations is heading to the governor's desk. The Arkansas Sports Raffle Act passed the Senate on Wednesday. If Governor Sanders signs it, schools can hold fundraising raffles during games and matches. It can help the programs to retain players in the new environment where athletes can earn money for use of their name, image, or likeness. Making maternal health care a priority in Arkansas. All this through legislation and now reaching expecting moms on their cell phones. Arkansans now have access to the Pregnancy Plus app, all thanks to a partnership between Bentonville-based Ingeborg Initiatives and Rural Phillips. It's designed to increase access to critical health care services, improve health literacy, and promote healthy habits among pregnant mothers in the state. The Arkansas-specific content is available free to any residents who download the app. Once users sign up and confirm they live in Arkansas, they'll receive premium access at no cost.
We see this app as a kind of form of connective tissue between the different things that are being done across the state and centralizing information so that removing one barrier for moms that they're facing.
Well, this comes as the governor signed the Healthy Moms, Healthy Babies Act in February. It's a multi-million-dollar program that will boost Medicaid funding for pregnancy care. It also increases reimbursements, expands remote monitoring, and covers up to 14 prenatal and postnatal visits.
Well, in other news, an update on the 95-year-old missing woman from Mountain Home. We've learned a body found on the Little Rock Air Force Base was in fact Belvedere. Jacksonville police, who is now leading the investigation, confirmed her body was found in a car on Wednesday last week. Police shared that alongside officials at the Air Force Base, but they say that the investigation is ongoing and they could not say how Belvedere got to that location.
All right, let's get a traffic update for you this morning. Good news is no accidents, no slowdowns for your Thursday morning commute. Here's a live look going into Fayetteville this morning. Traffic starting to pick up just after 6:30 today. Plenty of sunshine. Daytime highs will reach up into those low 80s for today. Strong winds for tomorrow will make for a tricky commute. We'll talk about it coming up.
Well, today President Trump will meet with the head of NATO in Washington.
This comes as Trump is threatening to ramp up an escalating trade war. Canada and Europe announced new levies in response to this 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports. From Canada, tariffs on nearly $30 billion worth of steel, computers, and sports equipment. The European Union, roughly $28 billion worth of American goods like bourbon, motorbikes, and blue jeans.
They'll be doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever they charge us, we're charging them.
Meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is meeting with G7 leaders in Canada today, and Canadian officials are set to meet with the U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick in Washington to wind down the trade war. Russia's president visited the country's western region of Kursk for the first time since Ukrainian forces seized some territory in the area. It comes as Kyiv indicated it is open to a 30-day ceasefire in the war with Russia after talks with U.S. officials in Saudi Arabia. The Kremlin spokesman said that Russia is awaiting detailed information.
And less than an hour from liftoff, NASA called off an attempt on Wednesday to launch the next crew to the International Space Station. A ground system hydraulics issue at Florida's Kennedy Space Center was to blame. The new crew needs to get to the space station before 2 astronauts can return to Earth after more than 9 months in orbit.